Why did French-Algerian legend Zinedine Zidane rarely sing before kickoff? And why was midfielder Mesut Özil also quiet during the German national anthem? The 90 seconds before a football match reveal more than you think. These songs reflect the myth building that constitutes the nation. The story that the country tells its citizens and the world about who and what it is. But they have relatively little to do with the actual state of that country today. So when it comes to the world's largest single sport tournament, what story gets told? And what exactly gets left out? Let's start with France. Over 1.5 billion people tuned in to watch the 2022 World Cup final, where they heard France's national anthem, La Marseillaise, play before the match. The French anthem comes complete with calls for the impure blood of their enemies to soak their furrows or fields. Yikes. But on the football pitch, it's a chance for the French to tout one of their more peaceful values, universalism. It's the belief that there's only one national identity. And it's that belief that actually makes it illegal for the government to collect data on race and ethnicity. Instead, everyone is simply French. Well, at least when they're winning. Let me explain. When Les Bleus took home the World Cup, first in 1998 and then again in 2018, the French establishment lauded the victory. And in 2018, because of the French team's roots, from Cameroon, Algeria, Mali, Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, Democratic Republic of Congo, and more, many Africans celebrated too. But when some jokingly called it a win for Africa, the French were quick to push back. South African comedian Trevor Noah called out this duality.
When they are unemployed, when they may commit a crime, or when they are considered unsavory, it's the African immigrants. When their children go on to provide a World Cup victory for France, we should only refer to them as France.
4 years later, when Les Bleus lost the final match in 2022, racist abuse online was swift. And this problem isn't new. Back in 2011, French-Algerian striker Karim Benzema said, "If I score, I'm French. If I don't, I'm Arab." You see, France is home to at least 10 million people with roots in Muslim-majority countries, which also encompasses at least 3.5 million African immigrants. But because the government doesn't collect data on race, it's impossible to know the true extent of the Arab, African, and Caribbean diasporas. Experts estimate that the black population in France could be up to 5 million, but that figure is from 2008, so it's probably outdated now. This is due in large part to France's colonial past, which peaked after World War I. Among the largest territories under French control at the time included French West Africa, French Equatorial Africa, and French Algeria. And in modern-day Algeria, those colonial scars still ache. France maintained its 132-year control over Algeria through mass killing, torture, and economic manipulation. Up to 1.5 million Algerians are believed to have died during 7 bloody years of fighting, although no official records exist. Algeria adopted its anthem, Qasaman, or We Pledge, after it gained independence in 1962. Written by an Algerian poet imprisoned by the French, the song actually name-checks France and calls for a reckoning with its former colonial power. Today, Algerians represent the largest single immigrant group in France, but formal relations between the countries remain tense. In the 60 years since Algeria won its independence, France and Algeria have only ever played each other once at the senior men's team level. In 2001, what started as a friendly ended early after fans stormed the pitch in the 76th minute. So, for players with both French and Algerian roots, well, they face a tough decision. Take Zinedine Zidane, the French-Algerian football star who helped France win its first World Cup in 1998. Zidane, or Zizou, holds both French and Algerian citizenship. By the way, Zizou regularly avoided singing the French anthem, a decision that attracted criticism. While the midfielder wore the French jersey, 20 years later, his son has chosen a different path.
C'est mon pays d'origine, de mes grands-parents, et je suis fier d'être ici et je donnerai tout, comme j'ai dit, pour l'Algérie, pour mon pays, et c'est une fierté d'être ici.
For players with immigrant backgrounds, the anthem can bring its own baggage. Take Germany. Before the German team won the 2014 World Cup, its anthem rang through the stadiums before each match as usual. And just like a practice that has become common in France, certain German players pointedly did not sing along. Here's where we need a bit of backstory, starting with the anthem itself. The lyrics of Deutschlandlied, or the Song of Germany, were written in 1841 to unify the feuding kingdoms that made up the country at the time. The song was declared the national anthem in 1922, and you know who really liked it? The rising National Socialist German Workers' Party, aka the Nazis. They particularly loved the opening verse, which says, Deutschland über alles, or Germany above all. Under that guiding principle, the Nazis would go on to conquer most of Europe. They did so by starting a war that killed 20 million soldiers and 40 million civilians, including 6 million Jewish people. Deutschlandlied is still the country's national anthem, but with one important caveat. Now, people only sing the third verse of the original song. But that hasn't stopped right-wing fanatics and politicians from singing the first verse in public as a not-so-subtle nod to the country's Nazi history. Because, in case you hadn't heard, the far right is making a comeback in Germany. And with it, there's been a rise in anti-immigration sentiment, and that has started to trickle down to the country's football pitches.
Football and racism, two things that go hand in hand in Europe.
Which brings us back to the German football world and one of its biggest stars, Mesut Özil. And just like Zizou and Benzema, Özil straddles two identities. Born in Germany with Turkish heritage, Özil was one of the country's first national players with an immigrant background to achieve such massive success internationally. But like many firsts before him, Özil became a target. Like when he remained silent on the national anthem during international matches. Fans called out Özil and other players with immigrant backgrounds, sparking a national debate on diversity in German football. Özil went on to help the German team win the World Cup in 2014, but 4 years later, Germany faced a shocking elimination in the first round of the 2018 games. That loss, coupled with Özil's public meeting with Turkey's President Erdogan, led to a firestorm of criticism for the midfielder. And Özil cited that backlash when he announced his retirement from international football later that year. In his shocking announcement, he wrote, "I'm German when we win, but I am an immigrant when we lose." But sometimes players can't sing the lyrics of a national anthem, even if they wanted to. Enter 2010 World Cup winner Spain. Spain's players didn't sing the lyrics because, well, the anthem doesn't have any official lyrics to begin with. In fact, it's a wordless anthem. And before you ask, they hum. But even an anthem without lyrics is still saying something. First, some history. The Marcha Real, or Royal March, was originally created as a military theme in 1761. Many have tried and failed to write lyrics that capture Spain's national story. One of the only times when some lyrics actually did stick was during the dictatorship of General Francisco Franco. That's when lyrics glorifying Franco's authoritarian government were regularly sung. With support from Hitler in Germany and Mussolini in Italy, Franco came to power in Spain in 1936. The dictator ruled for 39 years, during which he sought to enforce a single Spanish identity and banned all regional languages. To preserve their culture and educate future generations, children across the country attended secret language schools. In the northeast, students learned Catalan, On the border with France, they learned Aranese. Out west, they learned Galician. And up north, they learned Euskara, Europe's oldest living language. After Franco's death in 1975, the country transitioned into a modern democracy. But that didn't happen overnight. And regional symbols like the Basque flag or ikurriña were still illegal in the immediate aftermath of the dictator's passing. In 1976, Basque footballers José Ángel Iribar and Ignacio Cotobarria carried the ikurriña onto the pitch before a club match. It was the first public showing since Franco banned it nearly 40 years earlier. And the crowd's reaction was thunderous. The pair avoided punishment, and Spain would go on to legalise the flag in 1977, right before it hosted the first democratic election later that year. Following the dictator's death, the Spanish also rejected the fascist lyrics made popular during Franco's reign. Contemporary attempts to adopt new lyrics have all failed to fully capture a modern Spain that includes 3 different independence movements, 17 autonomous territories, and deeply fractured politics. But perhaps Spain's struggle to hash out a cohesive national story only emphasises the myth-building behind the national anthem. Because for the 90 seconds before kickoff, a country gets reduced to a single song. And it's during these moments of national pride that athletes can make a powerful point by choosing to stay silent or taking a knee. Ultimately, the national anthem is just a small part of a much bigger conversation about football, dual identities, history, and belonging. Thanks so much for watching. Let us know in the comments what you'd like us to explain about the World Cup next, and we'll kick the idea around.